Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some waffles. I'm hungry this morning and I want to show you how I make my waffles. And I'm going to top them with some whipped topping and some strawberries. I also like butter and maple syrup. So those are the two toppings that I like on my waffles. But I wanted to tell our newcomers who are new to our page, when you first see me, you think, well, you're too far away and I can't see what you're doing. Well, let me just tell you real briefly before we get started making these waffles that on all of my videos, I do kind of a little introduction. I welcome you and I tell you what we're going to make, and then I tell you what we're going to put in the dish. So then I bring you in close and you can see the whole process of what I'm making, and it's very, very close up. So don't leave me when you first see my page, and thank you for joining us and for following us. I appreciate that very, very much. So let's get started on these waffles. I'm going to use two eggs. I'm going to separate these. I'll use the yolks, I'll incorporate those, and then I'm going to beat the egg whites. So I'll show you, we'll do that together as we go along. I'm using between 3/4 and a whole cup of buttermilk. So you might say, well, why don't you just use a whole cup of buttermilk? Well, I'm using between 3/4 and a cup because a cup is too much, 3/4 is not quite enough. So that's what I'm using, and sometimes I'll use whole milk. In fact, my original recipe calls for a cup of whole milk, but today I'm using buttermilk. I'm using 1 cup of all-purpose flour, sifted all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of white granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, and I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in our waffles. So let me run through that real quickly. I know you're trying to write it down. 2 eggs, almost a cup of buttermilk, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, sifted all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1/4 cup vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I have all of these in my kitchen. I bet you do too. So let's make these waffles together. I have already done 2 or 3 things in the setup today, and I wanted to tell you what I did. I separated our eggs, so I have our egg yolks here, and I have our egg whites in another little bowl, and we'll beat these in just a moment. I also combined our dry ingredients. I like to combine mine and re-sift them. So here I have our flour, our sugar, salt, and baking powder, and I re-sifted that all together so that it'll blend in and mix better. So now let's start by beating our egg whites. This won't take but just a minute, and I'll talk to you while we beat the egg whites. I hope that you can hear me over this, but I wanted to tell you, if you don't already know, and some of you certainly do know this, but you can make your waffle mixture ahead of time and just put it in the refrigerator, put it in an airtight container, and it'll keep for a few days. I'd say 2 or 3 days. Some people say it'll keep up to a week, but I always use mine before then. But you can certainly make this ahead of time, or you can just make it when you start to make your waffles. Now, another thing about waffles is that you always want to serve them warm, of course, and you can put these in. If you have leftovers, you can put them in the refrigerator, or you can even freeze them, and then when you go to heat them up, you can just heat them up in the oven, or you can pop them in the toaster and reheat your waffles. So if you have some left over, you certainly don't have to throw them away. You can use them for later. And as I said, there's several toppings that you can use. I like to use strawberries and whipped cream. I like to serve with butter and syrup. Now my husband likes old-fashioned cane syrup, but I like maple syrup. Okay, our egg whites are stiff, so I'm going to move that aside and I'm going to bring back our egg yolks. So I'm going to just start mixing this up, and I'm going to gradually add our buttermilk. This is so quick. Just mixing the egg yolk and the buttermilk. To that, I'm going to add our dry ingredients. And I'm just going to pour that all in there. Mixing it around. This is a great dish, or it's wonderful to make waffles on the weekend, maybe on a Saturday morning, maybe when your grandchildren are visiting with you, or your family gets up, or you have guests. You can just make some waffles and share with them, because they would love it. Now I'm going to gradually add the vegetable oil. Kind of incorporating it as I'm adding it, whisking it around. Now let's add our vanilla. One teaspoon of vanilla. And whisk that around. Now, let's add in our egg whites. And we're just going to fold these in, and you know the process for folding. It's a down, over, and under and over motion. So you just want to fold these in. These are going to be so good, I can hardly wait. Okay, our waffle mixture is ready. Now I'm going to preheat our waffle iron and we'll get started cooking. I have preheated our waffle iron. The little green light is on, so that tells me that it's ready. And this is a small waffle iron. You might have a larger one, which is great, which is fine. But I want you to notice that I have set the waffle iron on my countertop. This is granite, and I can set it there and it'll cook. And notice that I don't have it on my dish towel because of safety reasons. So I'm going to spray our waffle iron with a no-stick cooking spray. And then I'm going to take just a little measuring cup. This is about 1/3 of a cup, and this may be too much. And sometimes I put too much in there. So I'm just going to kind of spread this out. Close the lid, and we'll see what happens. Okay, our waffle is ready, or the green lights. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's pretty. I did make it myself. Okay, so now we got to get this out of here, and I went ahead and made another one. So this is my second one. Look at that. Just going to put it here on this plate. Look at that. I put a little butter on that one. So you can put butter on this, or you can put strawberries and whipped cream, whatever you like. So now I'm going to make the rest of them and I'll be back. Okay, I think I can eat 3 waffles this morning. Look at that. So now I'm going to put some whipped topping, and if I had company, I would make fresh whipped topping. I wouldn't use store-bought, but I don't have company this morning. It's just me and Doug, so I'm just gonna put some whipped cream on here, just like that. And then I'm going to put some strawberries. Yum. I think I'll put these other strawberries on my plate because I want them too. Just put a few right there and a few right there. And there we have it. That's my breakfast. And yes, I'm going to eat every bit of it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be back in just a minute. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today, and thank you for making these waffles with me. I have never made these but what they turned out. So we're going to name these Never Fail Waffles. And so I'm going to cut some before I come over to taste them. You know, I like to taste them with you. So I'm just going to cut me a little bite here so that I can get it off the plate when I come over there. I'm so excited. I'm so hungry. I have my coffee right here. So let's try them and see how they taste. Okay. I hope you'll make some waffles real soon. I cut this little piece right here. Look at that. That is so delicious. I hope you'll make some. And I'll see you again really, really soon. Share this recipe so all of these young mothers can make their children some waffles, and grandmothers can make their grandchildren some waffles. And you have a blessed day.